Hi everyone, it's so good to be with you. Hello, my beautiful, confident ladies. So, I am Michelle Merrix. It's good to be with you today with WCTV. And today, I want to talk to you about boundaries in your life. So, in my practice lately, boundaries have been coming up quite a bit. And what I do is I am a mindset and confidence specialist for women. So, I help you to feel your best confident self and feel really good about who you are, where you're headed, decisions that you're making, and things that happen in life can cause you to lose confidence. Maybe it's a relationship breakup, maybe it's a divorce, maybe there's been division of family. So many things that could happen. Job loss of a loved one, wanting to date again. Maybe you want to get out and you want to start dating again, or dating for the first time. So how do I feel like a confident woman? How do I create boundaries in my life to create and have that confidence? And if you don't have boundaries created, what happens is you start to feel a little disrespected, a little bit on the disrespected side. So we don't want that for you, because each time that you don't have a boundary that's set in place and you kind of maybe blame it on the other person, and what it does is it knocks your confidence down a little bit. And many of you maybe have been in relationships, but what happens is everything that we are in is a relationship. And every subject that you have is about your mindset. So with your mindset, we're going to talk about that and creating good confidence and talking about those boundaries today. And everything, so today's topic, so boundaries, and I love this saying, I'm going to read this off of here. Boundaries do not protect you from other people. Your boundaries protect you from you and for you. So don't expect other people to respect your boundaries. And there's reason for that. People are going to try, not all people, but you have people in your life who are really going to try to kind of push you, or you've told them what your boundaries are and they're not listening the way that you may like that. So I'm going to give you some examples of that. I'm going to give you some tips on creating those boundaries in your life and telling you about some clarity. So that's what we'll do. So how do you keep your boundaries? How do you create them so other people understand? There are 4 C's that happen with a boundary. There's your consciousness, which means your awareness. What am I aware of? How do I feel? How something makes me feel? Or if someone talks to me a certain way, how does that make me feel? Do I feel like I'm flushing? I'm getting mad? I'm getting embarrassed? What am I? How am I feeling that way? So be very aware of how you feel. The next C is clarity. You must be very, very clear of your boundaries, and that includes what are your values. And your boundaries and your clarity, you even need to write it down. What is it? What values do I want? How do I want to be respected? And I'm going to give you some examples of that. The next C, number 3, is communication. So in order for someone to understand your boundaries, you must communicate what those boundaries are. Someone is not going to know how you feel, maybe what can anger you a little bit, maybe what can make you feel embarrassed, however you may feel. Someone's not going to automatically know. And you must make that very clear. It is your responsibility to state your boundaries. People aren't going to automatically know that. Perhaps someone new that you're dating will automatically know that. Your boss may not know that. He doesn't know you yet. You have a new job, you have a new boss. So maybe there has been a divorce, and within that divorce framework, there now needs to be new boundaries. And boundaries on, if you have children, how we're going to work out the children, how that's going to happen, how is our relationship going to be. And that is a different subject about divorce, but let me tell you this much. You need to come from a place of love. Of everything, come from a place of love. Explaining your boundaries, everything. We play nice. And then if it gets to the point of maybe you need to walk away from someone or something, if your boundaries are not being respected, then you get to that point. But let's be clear and come from a place of love to begin with. The last C on your boundaries is commitment. when you create a boundary for yourself, stay committed to your boundary. Don't let it go, because then someone will think, oh, it'll slide. That's not a big deal. It's a very big deal, trust me. So let me give you some examples, because this has come about in my practice, especially over the last few weeks with clients, with a few friends. And I'll give you an example of someone I was talking to yesterday. She went to work, and there are a few of the guys that she works with that like to play jokes on her and turn her stuff upside down at her computer and just mess with her and have fun. However, she has become so busy at work that this is something that really gets under her nerves. So what happened was, she gets home last night and she's mad. She's mad that throughout her day, and it's just ruined my day. No one can ruin your day without your permission. You must remember that. You allow someone to ruin your day if that is the case. We can have rough days, but it's up to you to control how your day goes, how your emotions go, being emotionally intelligent. So I asked her, well, did you tell them, stay away from your desk, quit moving your stapler around, quit? And they're having fun, they think it's funny. But at this point, it's under her nerves, and it's causing her stress. But what's causing her stress is she's not communicating. So the 4 C's, she consciously knows what her boundary is. I no longer want someone messing at my desk, right? And the next step is clarity. I'm very clear that I don't want that happening. I know I don't want it to happen. I'm very clear on what I want and what I don't. I don't want someone messing with my personal things at work. So the next thing is communication. She has not communicated that yet. And if you don't communicate that yet, you don't have a chance yet to stick to your commitment of stay away from my desk. So she needs to communicate, I need you to stay away from my desk. I would appreciate it. Or seriously, no joking anymore. Can you guys stop messing around with my desk? I have so much to do. It's taking away from my work. Just ask. And the next thing is sticking to that commitment. So you can't have on Friday where they come back and they play with your desk and they turn your things upside down and you don't stick to your commitment and you laugh and haha, that's funny. You can't do that. So stick to the boundary commitment that you have made. Communicate what's happening. If that doesn't change for you, become a little stronger in how you're saying about your boundary. And that probably should take care of the problem. If you have to go up a little higher, you can, and get a little more stern, you can do that. But again, come from a place of love, of a place of niceness and kindness, and say, hey guys, that was funny, but really please don't do that anymore. Soon they'll get to a point of feeling a little awkward. You won't have to worry about that. Let me give you another example that this has happened to a client. So her teenage son brings his phone to the table, and she likes to have family time at dinner. So if you're having family time at dinner, her thing that she wants to do is no phones, absolutely no phones. And you can't blame her. That's how she wants to run her family. Her family gets home. Let's talk about how everybody's day was. There are 4 altogether, and let's talk about everyone's day. Let's have dinner. Let's enjoy family time for 45 minutes, what have you. So the teenage son is bringing his phone to the table, and she just says, we have decided no phones at the table. Because it is true. I mean, if any of you have noticed, you can go to a restaurant and there's a family of 5, and you look at them and every single one of them is on the phone. I know you've noticed that. So there's not a boundary, obviously, when you're out. And some people think, oh, that's not a big deal. But let me tell you something you might be missing. If you are out at a restaurant and that's good with your family, that's absolutely no problem. Or you might look at a family and think, oh my gosh, look at everyone who's on their phone. You are in the present moment with your kids when you are out to dinner. They get older every single day. So be in the present moment with your family. There are times to go have fun, don't get me wrong. But this was a big thing for her. So what's happening is the 14-year-old wants to keep bringing his phone to the table. And she said, no, what we're going to do is we're going to put all the phones to the side. You can either do it on your own or I'm going to set it to the side because this is very important. And he says, okay, Mom, no big deal. So 2 days later, what happens? Junior's bringing his phone back to the table. So she consciously knows what she wants. She's been very clear about what she wants, and she's communicated what she wants. Now, is she going to stick to her commitment, or is she going to let Junior bring the phone to the table at family dinner time? And don't let it go, because he's going to think, what, this isn't no big deal, and then you feel disrespected. This is not Junior's exact responsibility to take care of this. Junior needs to understand that you are completely clear and you are completely serious. So she says again, I can take the phone and put it over in the basket until we're done, or I'm going to give you another option because we're no longer going to do this. And he was like, but Mom, and she said, no. So the good part is getting to the part of everyone puts their phone to the side. We can actually have family time, because it's rare with so much overwhelm, sports, academics, things that we're doing, for a family to actually sit down. So when she gets her sit down time with her family, this is what she wants. So you can't blame her for that. And there's one more thing. This happens a lot as well. In fact, I had a client, we just talked about this a few weeks ago. She has her boss who, he is telling her, why didn't you email me over the weekend? And she's like, what do you mean? And he said, well, I sent you an email on Saturday morning. I was working. Here's the boundary. I don't return emails on the weekend. My job ends at 5 o'clock on Friday. I will return any emails to you most definitely when I'm in at 8 o'clock on Monday. So you're in at 8 o'clock on Monday, you'll return the email. But the boss, because he likes to work, isn't quite understanding. So what happens? You have to be very conscious of, I don't answer emails. I have the weekend. This is my time. It's my personal time. Because we all know that in corporate industry, regular industry, people will work into their weekend. This is a problem actually in America, where everyone is busy. Sometimes they like to say, oh, I was just so busy. And when you're so busy and you are throwing everything into work, you're not a balanced life. You're not having something that's balanced. So, you know, she and I talked about this, but she was like, I don't want to start answering emails. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to work on Saturdays. This is something I don't want to do. So she had to kind of, you know, you feel kind of bad, but she's very conscientious. The first C of, I don't want to be answering emails on a weekend, and he definitely needs to know about that. I have to be very clear about my message, and I have to communicate my message. I don't answer emails over the weekend. This is my own boundary. And then stick to that commitment. Do not answer that email over the weekend. So these are just examples of boundaries in our life. And what happens is, with my client, we need to create boundaries. For me, one of my biggest boundaries I can tell you is how someone speaks to me, how they talk to me. And if someone gets degrading with me, anything like that, we've all had it in our life. If you have someone who is raising their voice at your workplace, anything like that, take care of it immediately. Because you don't want to feel disrespected, because what's going to happen? It's going to knock down my confidence. And then I'm going to be quiet and I'm not going to say anything, and then it's going to happen again and again and again. And then I'm stressed, I have anxiety because I've allowed it to happen. So don't allow it to happen. And I have a rule for my own self, my own boundary, and it's real simple. And I've had to say to more than one person, here's the thing, I don't allow anyone to speak to me that way. So if you have something going on somewhere in one of your relationships and someone is speaking to you that is not the way that you feel that you deserve, that makes you feel defeated, deflated, any of those things, you have got to speak up. And it's real simple. You just let someone know, you're not going to talk to me that way. And then it stops. And if it doesn't stop, you have to consider about how toxic is that person to you, and are they really worth being in your life? So those are just ideas and things that I help you do. If you are considering boundaries, what's going on in your life, what I do as a coach is I help you break things down. I help you take action. I help to teach you in a very good way how to take a hold of things like boundaries, how to treat those things, because it's all about less stress in your life, less frustration, to make you the most confident woman that you can possibly be. If you'd like to reach out to me at all, you can see on the TV screen, you can reach me on email, definitely on Facebook. You can join me at even Michelle Merrix on Facebook, and I'll let you into my group, and you'll see we talk about a lot more things as far as balance, boundaries, all these great things. I thank you so, so much. I look forward to seeing you again, and I hope that you have a great day. Thank you, and stay confident.
for watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.